Okay, before we get started for this week's episode, I have to say that sorry in advance for the audio quality for both myself and Max. We didn't realize until later playing it back that Max and I sounded the way that we did, but we hope despite this you can still get the gist of what we both said, and we know that you'll enjoy this episode despite it, and I'm sure you're going to like the takes everyone has on the subjects we talk about. So I just wanted to let you guys know. And now let's start the episode.
Hey y'all, this is Hangover Sports podcast. I'm here today with our regular panelists and a special guest. So first we have JP Green, our runner, track star.
What up?
Mike Levine. And we also have the infamous Mr. Gibbs, also has his own show, Max with Max on TikTok. Max Rae.
Max here.
And we have our resident train enthusiast, and now a second appearance as a guest, Ray Rick.
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Maybe. Maybe. Oh, maybe. Are you really here?
I have no idea.
Alright, so first thing we want to bring up for topics of discussion is how the Washington football team is doing. So I'll hand it over to you, JP and Max, to discuss this.
Okay, so I don't like the name Commanders. Do you?
I like it.
You do? What about do you like?
I like the fact that it's a bold name. It's not in doesn't exist in sports yet. It's original. Saying commander, represents a sense of authority. And to be honest, with that type of organization, how that is, they do need some authority.
It does sound like the name does sound like pretty generic. Like that seems like a team that you would see in a high school, like the Commanders. And if you look around, like people are already starting to call them the Commies. Yeah, there's been stuff on the internet going around with that. So I don't think it's a good name. I feel like they could have picked a much better name than that. And if you see the fans' reactions around like the internet or here at High Point, it's not a lot of people are happy about it. But at the same time, I mean, I feel like they kind of rushed into the name, and they could have definitely been more creative. What do you think about it?
I like the name.
Why?
I told you. I think it's original. It's a sense of respecting authority. But what that organization has done in the past, how sketchy that organization is, you need some authority when it comes to how they are tolerating their new.
Okay.
That is not a well-run organization at all.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. But what does the name have to do with the organization? That's
it has
like the Knicks are a horrible team in the NBA, but should they change their name to the New York Commanders because they're a mess?
No, it has nothing to do with the name.
Should the Giants change their name to the New York Commanders?
Well, the New York Giants don't have a name. They have.
I know, but let's just
people.
theoretically say that they had let's just say theoretically they had a different name. Would you say that the Commanders would be a good name?
Washington Commanders rolls off the tongue of the New York Commanders.
I mean, what were the other choices for names again? Okay, yeah, because I don't know any of the other selections. I just feel like this could have been. I feel like this could have been a bit much better. Like,
I like it's original. It's original. I'm not seeing there's no.
It just seems like a high school football team that just got founded. Like it's not that threatening of a football name. I feel like of a team name. When it comes to football, I feel like
if you're talking about threatening names, you're not allowed NFL threatening names.
Well, I mean, no, but you know what I mean. You get what I'm saying. It doesn't really seem intimidating. It seems like, it seems like something that you would like. It seems like, as I said, a high school, a high school little football team.
I'll say this, and it does need to be a name that strikes fear in the opposing team. Every time now when I hear Washington Commanders, it's like introducing Bowser from Mario and Barney the Purple Dinosaur.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't strike fear. here come the Bowsers, and here come the Barneys.
Exactly.
It also seems a little bit long-winded in a ways. I mean, because, there's other team names like Giants, and it's just a lot quicker and easier to remember. But just from my initial opinion, Washington Commanders just seems kind of a bit too much to say, just in general.
It doesn't seem that many people are happy about the name. Like, there are, like, all sorts of responses on Twitter. For example, this one guy put Joseph Stalin's face on, and it says, Washington Commies.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, there's another one here that made me laugh so hard is the only better name for the Washington Commanders is Washington Allegations. And there's another one I saw where the new quarterback of the Washington Commanders, Captain Andrew Luck.
Oh, dear.
And there was another one I saw here where, it's the Soviet Union written term for Washington Commanders. And the coach doing, like, this Stalin salute.
Yeah, there's definitely a running theme with how the memes have been taken with this name, for sure.
It's just like with the Sonic the Hedgehog original trailer, there's about maybe 3 or 4 people on the internet who approve. So someone wrote, I'm as disappointed as the next person, but Washington Commanders is still better than Dallas Cowboys, New York Football Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, and 28 other NFL teams. I get that where this guy's coming from, but it's the name. Like, the Commanders doesn't strike fear in people. Like, the Dallas Cowboys, because we all know Cowboys are awesome. Giants is then Eagles, something that strikes fear. It's, when you have the Washington Commanders, it's like, years from now, if you ask someone who are the Washington Commanders, they're not going to know who they are because the name just doesn't, like, stick out. That's just my opinion. Like, I don't like the name change because I feel like it just doesn't strike fear.
I think it seems just kind of generically put together in a way. You don't immediately think of football unless it is kind of the memes associated with how the response has been, in all honesty. I feel like especially with people that don't really know sports and they just hear Washington Commanders, like, what's that from? I get your point with how, Max, you talked about how you do like it and the reasons that you do. I get where you're coming from, but just me personally, as someone who's not as much into sports as you guys, it just, to me, doesn't roll off the tongue as well and stick in people's minds. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. Like, I'm not that big of a football or sports person either, but I kind of have to agree with Ray on this one. Like, if someone were to ask me, like, 10 years from now, what's your favorite sport? If I were to ask someone, what's your favorite sport team, and they were to say the Washington Commanders, the first thing that would pop to my head is, like, and I never saw this movie, I would just make some random assumption. I'm like, are you talking about, like, the football team from, like, High School Musical or something? Like, it literally does sound like a non-intimidating name. But I get everyone has their own opinions to it, so I'm just voicing my opinion. Max, I respect yours if you like the name change. It's like, obviously there's people who like it and people who don't like it. It's like you have to either like it or you don't like it. There's no, like, well, it's okay. It's like, no, it's one of the arguments that you have to either agree or disagree with the name change.
Yeah, well, about for me, it's like Commanders. That sort of sense represents a sense of authority. And if you look at the Washington organization and what they've been, especially what sketchy stuff that's been going on in the front office over the years, this name change is the opposite of what they're known for. They are the most sketchy organizations in the NFL when it comes to, like, how they run their front office, the type of allegations that are going on from their front office. So in the sense of I look at a name and I'm like, this was a chance to sort of revitalize an image. And a sense of a Commanders would be a sense of more, like, duty to something or a sense of, like, responsibility. Something that has Washington organization has been under so many allegations, or when it comes to their front office and their executives, it's not even funny when it comes to that. but like there's a sense of respect and I think authority when it comes to that name change that they just don't have in their organization before, I guess, this rebrand.
One could say they're trying to take the brand of it again.
There you go.
Alright. Transitioning from that very cringy joke, I also was checking with JP with basketball because I know he wanted to talk about the All-Star thing.
Yeah, so I think I predicted a lot of these. I predict. So as I said in the last episode, I predicted a lot of the stars correctly. I do think that on the East, I really thought that the fans did a good job choosing. I like how DeMar DeRozan is in it. I like how he's back in the All-Star game after being in San Antonio for that stint. And I talked about the All-Star game. I talked about the starters last time, so I think I'm going to go into the reserves. Obviously, my one nitpick with the starters last time was Andrew Wiggins, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to talk about the reserves now, what I thought about them. So Jimmy Butler, I liked. He's come off really strong this season, and he's leading that Miami team. James Harden, he's kind of having a down year, but he's still a very great player in the West in terms of the backcourt. Zach Levine, I really love the Bulls this season. Even though I'm a Knicks fan, they've been the most exciting team to watch. So Zach Levine being in there makes sense. Chris Middleton, he's doing well. He's one of the best front court players in the East, and he deserves that reserve All-Star spot. Jason Tatum, he deserves to be there. Even though the Celtics are kind of having a down year, I still think he's an excellent player. He's one of the best small forwards in the East, so I think he deserves to be there. And Fred VanVleet was like, he's good, but, there is better players, I feel like, that they could have gone with as a reserve. Now, the West, I'm a bit skeptical about who they chose for the West. So, or at least one player. So for the West, Devin Booker is in the backcourt. I love that pick by the coaches. Luka Doncic is in the backcourt, which I like. Rudy Gobert is a center, and he's fantastic. I like him. I like that pick. Donovan Mitchell is there. He's playing extremely well this season. Chris Paul is there, and he has been the key to that Phoenix Suns team for a while, for sure. Karl Anthony Towns is back, which I really love. He's been snubbed from a couple of teams, so I do think he deserves to be there. But the one player that I disagree with, I'm going to go back to the East real quick because I actually missed someone. Darius Garland is one of my favorite players to watch right now. That Cleveland Cavaliers team has just been awesome. They are definitely the biggest surprise other than the Bulls this season, and I really was excited when he got it. But, Max, the one player who I didn't mention on the West, now that I'm going back to the West, is Draymond Green, and I've been against him being a starter. I'm happy that he wasn't a starter, but he obviously was in the discussions as a reserve. And here's my issue. He's not in the tens for any categories. He's only averaging 7 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds. With the 7 assists, it's great, but do you think an all-star like that should be deserve? And I get that he's a reserve player. It's always cool to see those utility players make the all-star game. But do you think his stats are too low to be in the all-star game?
I do not think so.
But why?
The thing that makes Draymond so great is not the stat line. If you look at the stat line, he'll never have the stats to be an all-star. But him as a player, he's an all-star. He is very different than any other player in the NBA. He's very unique. He gets people's heads. He does a lot of mind games, which is sort of what you need on your team, and that's what makes it so. He's psychologically an all-star, if it makes sense. As a player, he's an all-star. The stats won't wow you, but I think collectively, when I think all-star, I think Draymond Green.
Yeah, that's interesting because I really like, even though Anthony Davis is hurt, I still really think he deserved to kind of be there. Hopefully, if like someone gets hurt, he'll be there. But at the same time, I do think that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander deserved a spot on the All-Star game, and to see how well he's been playing, I just don't think as a reserve, I think he deserves to be there more than Draymond Green. I think both of those players do. But yeah, I mean, that's what I think about the West All-Star game. I mean, in terms of the snubs right now, DraftKings, I felt like their list was kind of accurate. Like, having Miles Bridges in there would be cool. The one snub who I really want to talk about is LaMelo Ball. Do you think he deserved to be in there? Because he definitely...
No.
Really? Because looking at the East backcourt right now, Zach Levine is good. Fred VanVleet is good. Darius Garland, as I mentioned, is playing well. But at the same time, you know, LaMelo, he's averaging 19.6 points a game, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds. And you have someone in that All-Star game like Fred VanVleet, who's not averaging more rebounds than him, is not playing better all around than him. So I mean, to be honest, like if Draymond Green is an All-Star, I don't think Fred VanVleet deserves to be there over LaMelo Ball, and I don't think what's his name, Darius Garland deserves to be there over LaMelo Ball. One of those guys I feel like had to go.
Here we go.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love Garland, but
When I think of LaMelo Ball, I just don't think All-Star. I'm just going to be very simple as that.
why?
I just don't. I think he is a good player on a average team that his stats will be very larger and exaggerated than what he really can bring to the team.
But, you know, he's still sharing touches with Miles Bridges, who has become an electric scorer for them, and he still has, you know, Gordon Hayward, who gets touches as well. So I think what he's doing is still impressive.
Yeah, but like basically, I'm using your point to basically make my point. The fact that you do have all those other starters, or all those other players on the team that are doing so well, they're not. He's sort of. I'm not saying he's forgotten about, but like he's not. He doesn't need to put on like a bunch of giant numbers because of he does have Gordon Hayward and he does have Miles Bridges.
Yeah, I mean, that is true.
So therefore, his numbers won't be as great, and I don't believe he'll be.
Look at Darius Garland, though. Who is he sharing the ball with other than Jarrett Allen and Colin Sexton, who has been inconsistent?
Then that is the point even better. Is that those guys have been inconsistent, while the other players are not traditionally inconsistent.
Okay, fair point.
That proves the point a little better, I think. Even.
Yeah, I mean, going off of that though, Fred VanVleet, you know, he's not doing well, but he's still there. I mean, he's doing well, but he's not playing better in the ball right now, and he's there. And the Raptors, you know, aren't as impressive as the Cavs.
I see your point, but I still believe that, like, I have no issue with it. I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I like Fred VanVleet. I just think LaMelo Ball deserves one of those spots. I think my preference would have been Fred VanVleet, but
I'm absolutely fine with the Stars. I don't need to put
this
LaMelo
isn't the
Ball.
Stars. This is the reserves.
I don't need to put LaMelo Ball in the All-Star game.
Did you like any of the other picks? I like how Donovan Mitchell is back. He deserves to be there. And
Of course,
Carl
he's a
Anthony
top
Towns.
10 player in the league.
Really?
He's a top 10 player in the league. I'm not even thinking about that twice.
I mean,
He's not a top 5 player, but he's a top 10 player.
to be fair, you have Kevin Durant, you have LeBron James, you have Giannis, you have Curry,
Uh-huh.
you have Jokic,
Yeah. That's
you
right.
have DeMar DeRozan.
Okay.
You have did I say Trae Young yet?
I'd rather have Donovan Mitchell over Trae Young. I'd rather have Donovan Mitchell over DeRozan.
The way DeRozan's playing right now, I would prefer DeRozan, but I think actually, yeah, I would take. I do agree with you. I would take.
I'm like look at like Donovan Mitchell, and I think of like all like what he can do in the clutch. I'm taking Donovan Mitchell.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, in total, I like the All-Star game. I just wanted to see LaMelo Ball in there. But do you guys want to move on to a different topic, or?
Yeah, I was gonna ask one last question about something you brought up in this conversation. Before moving on, so you mentioned the term. I think I'm saying it right. It's snub or something like that.
Yeah.
Could you explain what that means?
So All-Star snubs are basically people who deserve to make the All-Star game but couldn't make it because of the 13-man roster. So for this year, for the snubs, this is from Sports Illustrated Nation. There's Drew Holiday, who is playing fantastic. Jarrett Allen, who I kind of feel like deserved to be there. He's having a breakout year, but I like the selection of front court players in the East. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he definitely has improved, but I don't see him as an all-star yet compared to the people in the West. Mikal Bridges is okay. He's like Draymond Green, except he scores more. Anthony Davis is injured, which is one of the reasons why I think Draymond Green got that bid. So I wouldn't consider him a snub. I disagree with SB Nation here. And DeJounte Murray, and I don't like that. I don't think he's a snub.
Well, Max seems to have an opinion on this too.
And then, yeah, Pascal Siakam, or DeJounte, yeah, we talking about DeJounte. Yeah, so those are the snubs who DraftKings and
so
SB.
Did Murray make the All-Star game?
No, he did not. You think he deserved to?
I want to go on a rant. I want to go on a rant so badly.
I'm gonna go to war.
I'm going to war for DeJounte Murray.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. He's almost averaging.
I'm looking at you look at his stats, and he's had a good number. Yeah, I'm not seeing like when we talk about fantasy basketball. I know that has nothing to do with the actual numbers, but it somewhat has to do with the numbers you're putting up. It has to accumulate with your assists and your turnover ratio.
You have to look at that Spurs team right now, though. Like as you said, he's a good player on the bad team. Similar.
I think he's a great player on the bad team.
Yeah, he's a great player on the bad team.
So that's where I'm that's where I think that he should be an all-star. Because even though I think he's an all-star player, because no one will look at him because how bad the team is.
Well, because if you look at the front court players, you have Karl-Anthony Towns. Do you think he deserves to be there over Cat?
You just said.
Or excuse me, backcourt. My leg. Yeah, no. So, okay. Next, get back here. So for the backcourt, yeah, you have Luka Doncic, who deserves to be there. You have Devin Booker, who deserves to be there. And then you have, I guess, Donovan Mitchell. He's a small forward. So, and then you have Chris Paul. So, I mean, those are your three backcourt players. I wouldn't ask for a better backcourt right now. So that's why Murray.
Is it three backcourt players to an All-Star game? Or four?
There's in this All-Star game. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Who's the fourth? Front court. Karl-Anthony Towns, Donovan Mitchell, Draymond Green, and
how many guards are there?
Luka Doncic, Chris Paul, and Devin Booker.
So there's only 3 guards. Okay.
And here's the thing, though. Wait, is it the same for the reserves? It's 1, 2, 3, and there's 2,
Very upset.
4. Yeah, so I mean, it's the same setup as the East in terms of reserves. So, I mean, theoretically, I think that's why DeJounte Murray isn't there based off the season that the 3 guards are having. Booker is obviously on the best team in the East. He and Chris Paul are one of the best backcourts, and Chris Paul deserves to be there. And what's his name? Luka Doncic obviously deserves to be there more than Murray.
JP for clarifying what that term meant. I'm sure
Yeah.
who may listen just like me who may not understand what that meant. And if it's okay, I was going to move on to a different topic.
Okay, yeah,
I just
go
want to
for
mention
it.
some numbers very quickly here, and we'll move on.
Okay.
So right now, DeJounte Murray is averaging
19, 8, and 8.
I love how he shot that number out.
Am I right?
You're somewhat wrong.
I
Okay.
just
He did not say somewhat right. I
Yeah, he
love
said
how
somewhat
Max
wrong.
went somewhat wrong.
Wrong.
Because Max wants to be right
No,
so
no,
bad.
it's averaging
19, 9.
29.
Oh, that's not what SB Nation is saying.
It's not 20, but it's 19.6. Like,
Oh, well, yeah,
like,
that's
like
what
it's
I
19
meant.
and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, you pretty much round up.
I round up at
Okay.
19.6.
All right.
He's
Fair,
averaging 20
fair.
points.
That's fair.
So he's averaging 20 points unless you want to say 19.6. He's averaging 8.5 rebounds a game and 9 assists a game.
Okay.
You know,
On a
he's,
really
he's,
bad team.
he's shooting 45.5% from the field.
On a really bad team.
You know, it doesn't matter.
But does Draymond Green deserve to be there then? His stats aren't great, but he's on a good team.
Well, this is different. These stats are good. Draymond's are bad.
And why is he on the All-Star team? But anyway, go back to your point. What's your point?
My point is, that he's putting up, he's moving the ball around and he's putting up numbers. I'm not saying he's put as a starter. I'm not saying he's putting a starter, but at least put him in the rotation. At least
Chris
put him on the
Paul
roster.
is averaging more assists there and is on the best team. Devin Booker is averaging 25 and 5 rebounds and 4 assists. And he's on the best team. And Luka Doncic, I mean, you're not going to take DeJounte Murray over him. So, I mean, theoretically, he's doing all of this stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love him as a player, but don't get me wrong, he's doing this stuff, but on a horrible team.
I wish you guys could see Max right now.
He's doing bad stuff and on a horrible team.
Should we get some behind the scenes video that we should post after the
We
podcast?
really should.
And don't get me wrong,
We
Max.
really
Don't get me
should.
wrong. We've seen players like that. You saw Kevin Love on the Timberwolves. Be on a horrible team and do well, but and be an all-star. But at the same time, yeah, Murray isn't on a great team. He's doing all this statistical stuff on a really bad team compared to Doncic, Chris Paul, and Devin Booker. And if you want to add the front court into it, then I mean the only player in the front court I would take over him is Draymond Green.
In case you guys are wondering why Max is so quiet, he's trying to find his happy place right now because I don't think he can take this many facts.
He's trying to have inner peace and have positive vibes and recover.
I mean, who do you think he
Like, if you
deserves
guys
to
were-
be over? He
Like, if you
deserves
guys
to
were-
be over on that list.
Sitting up.
All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and make
I mean,
a suggestion of how. Before,
Next topic.
I want to know this. Who do you think
Draymond
deserves
Green.
it? Thank you.
DeJounte Murray over Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Let the record
But if
say
you had to pick a
that-
backcourt player, if you had to replace a backcourt player, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, or Chris Paul, Devin Booker, or Luka Doncic, which one would you replace?
Max
Is
thinking
is
about it.
is if I had to take one, I might replace Luka, but
What?
that's just me.
What?
It's up to you.
I think we need to call security
Yeah,
because Max just had an
Are
aneurysm.
you
no,
kidding
JP
me?
is gotta be on
Max had.
I just want to stir the pot a little. I just want to stir. I'm just trying to enjoy myself.
Luka is on the Mavs are like the 5th seed right now, and the Spurs are in like the
This is shocking for me.
whole
I'm not
of
even a
the
sports
West.
You know what? You say your numbers. You know what you deal with. you know. But you know, just no.
Words, just no. And
All right, yeah. Next
now
topic. I'm gonna
have-
pretend you didn't say that next.
okay.
It is what it is.
I'm curious about football.
Oh yeah.
The rumors about Tom Brady is contemplating retiring soon, so I want to get everyone's thoughts on
He already retired.
He's retiring.
Okay, so it's not just rumors anymore?
Yeah, no, it's confirmed.
Because last week it was just rumors because we discovered, I think it was Saturday night when the news first broke, and then the next morning, Tom Brady said he hadn't made up his mind yet, and I think it was Monday or Tuesday that he announced he was retiring.
He's joining Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I mean, he deserves it.
He must be exhausted right now. 22 years of football.
Yeah, I mean,
This is going to become very controversial, but sometimes I can't even take 22 seconds of football.
don't tell Max that.
Oh.
It is.
You guys want? Is there any Winter Olympic stuff going on?
Oh, Winter Olympics is starting, so I've been watching a lot of Winter Olympics. I'm an expert on this, but I'm an expert here.
I love how Max says expert, he still can't get a word out of his mouth.
So last night I was up till 5 a.m.
You mean
Yeah,
this morning?
we were watching the snowboarding thing together.
I
that
was
was really.
I was watching snowboarding last night, and then I got back and I was downhill skiing. I got back to my dorm.
Yeah, that was
amazing. I love the Winter Olympics. It's the best.
Yeah, it's very
the best
underrated.
thing. I mean, it's like for me, because football, Winter Olympics, and every other sport.
Really not even the Summer Olympics.
Winter Olympics is so much better than Summer Olympics.
What?
Not even close.
But yeah, but like you got in the Summer Olympics, you have like track, you basically have everything. Winter Olympics, it's just like ice and winter sports.
But for me, what person? You just want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something. What makes the Winter Olympics so much better than the summer? I mean, what is the ratings for the Winter and the Summer Olympics?
So this is how
Michael Phelps, LeBron James, Usain Bolt.
I don't.
Name any Winter Olympic athletes other than Shaun White.
Oh no, Max, say something.
Okay.
But like my point is, for me, it's about sports. It's not about the players.
Ryan Lochte.
I don't care about Ryan Lochte. Is a stupid idiot. One of the most idiots in the entire world. That's not me.
Okay.
But for me, it's like it has to do with the sport. So like for me, when it comes to Summer Olympics, my favorite Summer Olympics are water polo
Okay.
and
Underrated.
and swimming. That's it. Oh, and rugby. That's it. Those are the 3 sports I watch.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
When it comes to Winter Olympics, I'll watch snowboarding. I'll watch downhill skiing. I'll watch cross country skiing. I'll watch curling. I'll watch skiing. It's like my favorite thing in the world. You know what skiing is, right?
yeah.
So you take the targets and you do the skiing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that, for me, that's like the coolest sport in the world. So like for me, you can say there's more athletes when it comes to the summer games, but when I'm talking about sports, like just stuff I like to watch, I like to watch a lot more winter games. Even as ice skating, I enjoy watching ice skating.
Yeah, I mean, my preference is the Winter Olympics is unique because it takes sports that you really wouldn't see every day, like snowboarding and skiing. But at the same time, the Summer Olympics, you have more recognizable athletes. You have more variation of sports. Like one sport you'll have indoors, like swimming, and then you'll have a sport outside, like track, and then you'll have a sport inside, like basketball. As opposed to the Winter Olympics, that really just takes place on one platform. I guess you could say hockey is indoors, but most of it is like skiing and snowboarding. So when it comes to the Winter Olympics, yeah, it's a cool sport. There's a lot of like stunt sports like snowboarding that Max and I were watching last night. which makes it interesting. But at the same time, there's multiple platforms. There's multiple platforms that you can go on for the Summer Olympics. But when it comes to the Winter Olympics, you're usually going to see snow and ice,
which is great.
That's
why I
great,
love it.
But at the
That's
same
why it's a
time,
better.
at the same time, I mean, here's my thing though. As a track and basketball guy, I'm obviously going to say Summer
Look,
Olympics.
we need to take a moment of silence because Max is about to lose his mind. So we're going to play peace.
Okay. Wait, can I just make my point?
Play the music.
Okay.
Play the music.
I just
Play the music. This will help. Let the audience
You're gonna
know.
make me lose my mind.
This is going to help Max very well.
I just want to make my point.
You made your point.
No, I didn't finish. The reason why I like these summer...
JP.
Max, take your deep breaths and then let me explain to you why I like the Summer Olympics more. So, here is why. Here is why. Because there's more variety in the Summer Olympics. You can see stuff like water polo happen, and then you'll see stuff like beach volleyball happen, then you'll see stuff like high jump and track and field events happen. There's a lot more variety. In the Winter Olympics, there's a lot more variety, but most of it is on snow. Like, for example, you'll see snowboarding, and then you'll see skiing, which are very similar, but it's two, different things. But at the same time, it's two different type of, objects that play the sport. But, for me as a track guy, I'm going to go with the Summer Olympics only because there's a lot more variety. You see a lot more other than, snow and ice.
Ooh. Okay, Max, what are you going to say to retort?
This is personally me. This is the way I see it.
Okay.
It's simple as this. I watch more Winter Olympic sports than I do Summer Olympic sports.
Why?
Why?
There's more entertaining sports I like to watch.
Okay, so it's a personal thing.
It's a personal thing. Where it's sort of in the sense, Summer Olympics, all I watch is basketball, water polo, and rugby. That's it. That's all
that's
I watch.
fair. That's fair.
And gymnastics. Those are the four I watch. That's it.
Okay.
And then when it comes to Winter Olympic sports, I'll watch skiing, which is one of the targets.
Right,
I think that's a cool sport.
Right.
Snowboarding is a cool sport. Cross country skiing is a cool sport.
Right.
Curling I like to watch.
Okay.
Ice hockey I like to watch.
Okay.
Sort of the sense of collectively as a whole, there's more sports I want to watch. I understand you talk about all the athletes that are in the summer games.
I'm not just talking about the athletes. I'm talking about the variation of sports.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm saying I just explained 7 sports right there that I do enjoy over Summer Olympic sports. And for me, Winter Olympic sports also have the athletes. You have Shaun White,
Okay.
which is known as this is his last Olympics this year.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how he does that.
And he's been around for about 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
and he is known to be one of the best probably snowboarders around. For me, it's nice watching that. It's nice watching his farewell tour.
Yeah.
For me, it's a sense of so I do like watching that. I do like watching. I'm a big avid fan of watching curling, even though it's a lot of people are just you're just watching the
Underrated.
ice, watching ice, and I enjoy it. It's just sort of knick-knacky things where it's I do enjoy watching the sport over summer sports.
Yeah, it is an interesting sporting event because you see sports that you usually wouldn't see every day on TV. So yeah, I do agree with you that it is a little bit more interesting because you can see beach volleyball on ESPN occasionally. You'll see NBA basketball. You'll see stuff skiing and snowboarding. We really don't see a lot unless there's the Winter X Games and stuff.
This is amazing.
So yeah, I get what you're saying. It is unique because it takes some sports that you usually wouldn't watch every day. But at the same time, you look at the TV ratings for the Olympics compared to the Winter Olympics, and I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think we all know that the Summer Olympics gets more views. But at the same time, there's a lot. The only reason why I'm taking the Summer Olympics over it is because there's a lot of variation with the sports.
JP, if you say variation one more time.
There's a lot of different things. Well, for example, you'll see one thing on a beach, you'll see one thing on a basketball court, you'll see something on a track, and then you'll see something in the swimming pool
Max is
as
a-
compared to
Now, what's the variation of that?
Yeah, what's the variation?
different things, like one's on the sports
You
court,
just
one.
said what variation means.
Well, what makes it so special?
What makes it so special is that it's like more than one sport.
There's more than one sport. When it
Right,
comes-
but no, you're missing what I'm saying. Like Winter Olympics, there's skiing and there's snowboarding, and then there's ice events, as compared to the Summer Olympics where there's like track, swimming, basketball, beach volleyball. Now
So
they're all on
you're
different.
talking about
they're
the
all-
surfaces.
They're all different like things though. Like yeah, if you look at where's okay. Where, is there any question how many like places can you see a Winter Olympic event? Because I only know two. I know ski, I know like the snow and the ice. What other like areas does that event cover?
Well, I can say three things that I say for summer. Sun,
The sun
the
is
beach,
a
and
place
pool.
that you
That's
can
what I can
stand
say for
on.
the summer with the beach volleyball, the pool events, sun out for all the track players.
Yeah, and the jumpers and throwers. But
Yeah, but that's all.
So,
That's all it
I
matters.
know.
Let me say this. The sun's out every single day.
yeah, I don't think you can stand on the sun.
Yeah, but like the summer, we talk about like more in the sun.
Okay, look, I noticed this is going to be a slight change of subject, but I noticed like there's been a lot of heated debate between Max and JP today,
So
and
we're
like
gonna-
they're really good friends. They're really good friends. So I'm gonna ask them: have you guys ever heard of the website regay.us?
No.
Nope.
Okay, so it's a couples therapy.
Well, no, this is a sports debate. I'm debating.
I know, but you guys are friends. You guys should be able to
Yeah,
get
I mean,
along.
it's like Skip Bayless and what's his name? It's like Skip Bayless and
Look, okay, so
no,
Max,
it's only-
Max Kellerman.
it's
Yeah,
only
it's Max Kellerman
$49.99.
and Stephen A. Smith. It's Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith over here.
Okay, look. Here's the thing. There's another one called quarterhead.com, and they got $29.99 for 1 hour. Mental health is your health, and like, I feel like this should not be arguing that much.
Okay.
So we're gonna say yo some couples therapy.
Here,
Say that, in my opinion, with both of these, because I think both of you guys are coming from. As far as the summer, one high attention to in general, is just hands down.
oh yeah,
Especially with
gymnastics
how
too.
Simone Biles is. But I have to say, I mean, she's for a reason. She's just very talented.
Yeah, you have a gymnastics thing. All
Me,
Winter
I'm not
Olympics
saying
is snow and
you.
ice, which is great. But yeah, go on.
I'm saying
And then for the winter, I also, as Max also brought up earlier, I love ice skating, just the elements and skill that it takes for that. So I definitely appreciate both
Good
of them.
sport.
I do have to say that for the summer, I hate to say this, but there are more views, honestly, and it sucks because I think that more people should watch the Winter Olympics as much as the
Yeah.
summer because it's just as expensive and
It is
engaging
as
summer.
cool. I'm just saying I prefer the Summer
And this
Olympics.
is what
better.
I'm saying about the ratings.
And I
This is
love
why
skiing too, so
This is why I'm not trusting the ratings. Because if you look at it, for our opinion, it's Summer Olympics for us that takes place in the summer. You could be up when as late as you want in the summer.
yeah.
Winter Olympics. Like,
Unless
this
you
is
have a job.
Well, this is a great example of Winter Olympics. Winter Olympics. Now you can be as late as you want. So like, there's like no comp. That's why the ratings would be better because you can be as late as you want. Winter Olympics, you can't be up as late as you want. I can't watch every single night. I can't watch Olympics till 5 a.m. because I got school, I got work, I got.
No,
And
but
when
I'm
people
trying to
got in the
say.
Corona world, they can't go. They
But I'm-
can't be up till 4 a.m. when they got.
Well,
the next
I
day.
mean, you can still there's still diehard fans that would be willing to do that. Like I
I
know,
do that.
I know people who will stay up late when like a TV show comes out. I know that like people on the eastern side when like a TV show comes out on like Disney Plus or something, they'll stay up until 3 a.m. until it comes out. I know people like that. I'm sure there are people that will do that in the Winter Olympics too. What I'm trying to say is that the sports are a bit more popular and a bit more diverse than the Winter Olympic sports because it's a lot more than just skiing and ice skating, which is great. I love skiing. And skiing is my second favorite. Skiing is my second favorite thing to do other than running. So I love the Winter Olympics and I appreciate them. But at the same time, I think. No, I do appreciate it. I just think that I think that the Summer Olympics are more popular and better than the Winter Olympics, and I love both. But that's just my thing. That's just my thing about.
Hold on, if you keep doing that, I can get the sound effect for that up. So if you guys actually don't know what Max is doing now, I'm gonna assume it's what I think it is. So I gotta pull it up.
I never said that I hated the Winter Olympics, Max.
Okay, here it is.
Okay, you better turn upright straight.
No, but Max, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I hate the Winter. I'm not saying that I hate the Winter Olympics.
Oh,
I
no,
love.
we just have to razz you. We have to razz you. We're friends.
Okay.
It's what we do.
All right.
And speaking of which, we hope that you use us as some of your friends here and that you got it in some of our cream when we talk about sports.
I'm only here once a week, so we'll probably
Gray is like our producer.
I'm only here once a week. Yes, thank you.
You are awesome, bro.
Well, you all are wearing my colors today. You're all wearing gray. So
Yay!
you guys,
We got the memo.
You guys are supporting the gray people.
But see, you're not. You're wearing salmon.
So are you. You're wearing salmon underneath.
That's what they have.
You're wearing salmon underneath.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining and listening to us. We hope you have a good week, and we hope that these and clear debate from JP and Max this week
All right,
have
next
been enjoyable.
next week we'll see if couples therapy worked.
Yeah,
We'll see if
let's
it's worth it.
do it.
Bro,
Let's
it's
do
just
it.
a debate. Max and I will hang out and be friends after. Don't worry.
Questionable.
Okay,
Questionable.
everyone is friends.
Questionable.
Oh my gosh. Anyways,
Don't
see you guys
worry. It's
next
just a
time.
sports debate.
It is not. It is my way of life, and I will not tolerate this.
All right.
Have a good one, everybody.